When we say Namo Amida Butsu, the countless Buddhas throughout the 10 quarters surrounding us 100-fold, 1,000-fold, rejoice in and protect us. Namo Amida Butsu, 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 Namo Amida Butsu. Well, good morning, everyone. The other day, as I was going about doing my work and making the lecture for my class, my son knocks on the door and he peers in and he says to me, "Papa, I have a letter for you." Right? And so I got really excited. And so that he has written something for me. And so he shows me this letter, right? And I open up the letter and I read what it says, and it's in Japanese. My son knows his katakana and hiragana much better than his English alphabet. So the letter is in Japanese, and he writes this in Japanese. You can't see it too well, but he writes this, and I will read it to you. He writes, "Papa wa omoshiroi. Papa nomisugi." And that's what he writes. So to Papa, "You are funny. Papa, you drink too much." And I cannot help but to smile at this letter. I'm getting medical advice from my son telling me I should stop drinking so much. In our everyday lives, we are, I guess you can say, given messages. And oftentimes these messages come from places where you least expect them to come from. So oftentimes I get this question, what is the benefit of having the Nembutsu in my life? In other words, what is the value or the importance of having this teaching in my life? Because when we think about it, we are often told, don't say the Nembutsu expecting to win the lottery, right? We're not supposed to say the Nembutsu as a form of petitionary prayer. In other words, we don't say Nembutsu in order to ask for something or to try to get something. Oftentimes, people might pray for a better life, for financial stability, for my illness to be cured, or that my children get into good colleges or get good jobs. We want this, and that we're told that the Nembutsu will not provide us with any of those things. So then the question becomes then, what is the purpose of saying the Nembutsu? A lot of times we might even be thinking, okay, because I took part in this, boring chant and I sat there during the long service, I have earned credits or the points, in life. Maybe we might think to ourselves that because we chanted today or said the Nembutsu or listened to the minister's long, boring message, that I somehow deserve to eat fast food now, right, for lunch, or that I deserve to watch the football game in peace, right, or go golfing now in peace. But of course, chanting and saying the Nembutsu, going to service, does not give you spiritual credit, so to speak, or brownie points, if you will. In Jodo Shinshu, we don't have what's called omamori, right? Talisman. We don't do that either. We don't participate in petitionary prayer, as I have just mentioned. We don't believe in luck, actually. We don't believe in superstition. Or any forms of zodiac or fortune telling. Right? So all of these things we do not take part in as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists. We do not believe in good luck days or auspicious days or bad luck days, right? In the Japanese calendar, they'll have days that are marked butsumetsu toka, good days, good luck days, bad luck days. So on these bad luck days, don't get married, right? That's what they'll say on these days, right? So we don't participate in that as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists, right? We don't recognize that. We don't take seriously the zodiac in terms of believing that, because you are born on the year of the ox, you have to be this way in character, or that because, I'm the year of the rat, you have to be this. I think, the year of the rat, we're supposed to hide our money in different places. This is what I've heard. I don't know if I do that, but that's apparently what I do, right? Or that if you have a certain blood type, right? If you're blood type O, you're very friendly and open-hearted, right? Blood type E is what they call in Japanese my pace, right? You do your own thing at your own time, right? So as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists, we don't believe in this either, right? In other words, because Shinran Shonin, according to Shinran Shonin, these things do not bring about true and lasting peace of mind. They merely distract us from understanding what is true in this world and what really matters in this life. So we as Shin Buddhists do not engage in these activities because they distract us from what is really important in this life, which is to encounter truth. Right? So returning back to my initial point then, what is the purpose of the Nembutsu? Why do we say it then? Simply put, we say it to affirm our embracement in true reality. When we awaken to this world of truth and the fact that we are embraced within this world of clarity and warmth, we then respond in deep gratitude, and that is the Nembutsu. Many times you might hear the Nembutsu as gratitude. Nembutsu is gratitude, 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 right? BCA, there's always gratitude, gratitude, right? But the Nembutsu is not a simple thank you, okay? The Nembutsu is deep gratitude. And there is a very stark difference between the two. Deep gratitude is understanding how much I am being supported in this life. I don't see and understand how much I am being supported and allowed to live. They call in Japanese, ikasareteiru, ikasareteiru. And we cannot help but to bow our heads because there isn't anything else I can do but simply show my deepest gratitude for all that I have been given. Right? In a way, deep gratitude is when our backs are to the wall. There is nowhere else to turn. There is nothing else we can do but bow our heads in gassho, right? In contrast to that, simple gratitude or simple appreciation or simple thank you is mere recognition of other people's efforts. And you might be appreciative, but maybe deep down inside you're thinking to yourself, well, if need be, I could have done that myself, right? Or if need be, I could have found another means of getting what I wanted. Many times we're not really thankful, right? Saying thank you is just kind of like asking how someone is doing, right? It's almost like a greeting, right? We don't really mean for you to stop and tell us how your day is actually going when we say, hey, how are you doing, right? It's just kind of a greeting kind of a thing, right? So thank you in much the same way, it has a very light or karui feeling, right? Karui feeling. There's no depth to it. So you know what gives it depth though? In Jodo Shinshu, it's haji, or this humble feeling from regret that I cannot repay this in full, right? But I won't talk about that too much. I'll leave that for another time. But simple gratitude versus deep gratitude. So deep gratitude and simple gratitude are very different from each other. In deep gratitude, this self feels almost unworthy for being given all that I have been given. This is, I think this point is very overlooked easily here in the West and in America. But maybe in this modern age, all across the world, this point is overlooked very easily, right? In a sense, it is a feeling of what they call in Japanese, arigatai, right? It's a very important point in Buddhism, arigatai. Arigatai, which translates to how difficult this current set of circumstances came to be, and yet here we are, right? How can this be? But it has come to be. Arigatai. I can only be in awe of everything that has been done for me. Arigatai. It's not a Japanese thing. It's a Buddhist thing, right? Even though it's using Japanese, but it is a Buddhist point, right? Buddhist teaching. So then what are we being arigatai about? What are we expressing our deepest gratitude towards? Well, I'm hoping to be able to show that by introducing you to a poem I came across in a book. And this poem was written by a person by the name of Yumi Matsutoya. And it reads as follows. So share this with you. Can everybody see this? Yeah. Okay, good. Okay. So it reads in Japanese, 優しい気持ちで目覚めた朝は、大人になっても奇跡は起こるよ。カーテンを開いて静かな木漏れ日の優しさに包まれたなら、きっと 目に映るすべてのことはメッセージ。Okay, so that reads in English, when I awake in the morning with a warm feeling, even as I am older now, there are still miracles. When I open up the curtains, and there I stand, embraced in the quiet sunlight that comes through the trees, how all the things that are brought before my eyes are all messages. Okay, so I will say that one more time. When I awake in the morning with a warm feeling, even as I am older now, there are still miracles. When I open up the curtains, and there I stand, embraced in the quiet sunlight that comes through the trees, how all the things that are brought before my eyes are all messages. And chodo, I was going on a walk a few weeks ago, and I walked through a park, and I saw this, and I took a picture of it. And I think this kind of catches a glimpse of what she might have been talking about. Get to my notes here. So I'm not sure whether this writer is a Jodo Shinshu Buddhist, but what she is referring to is similar to what the Nembustu teaching is trying to get at. So this person who awakes in the morning and feels warmth from the new day sees that this day too, right, is another gift for her. When she opens up the curtains and sees the rays of light shining through the trees, just as the picture suggests, she is caught in awe that the moment in all the causes and conditions for her life to simply be, right? She says that all the things that I see in every moment, in every space, in everything that I can perceive, I am being given the message that I am connected in a greater reality that is more than simply just this ego self. I am connected and embraced in a world of warmth and clarity. And this is how I interpret her words. We as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists call this world of warmth and clarity Amida Buddha's infinite wisdom and compassion. The warmth corresponds to compassion, and the clarity corresponds to wisdom. For us, the world around us is constantly sending messages to us, and that message is the message of the Nembustu, the calling voice of Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion. What is that message? It is the message that you are not alone. It is the message that you, as you are going to be okay. That's what the Nembustu is. It's a message. It's just like my boy who says to me, Papa, 飲みすぎだよ。体に気をつけて, right? Papa, you drink too much. Take care of yourself, right? In the same way, we are being told this message. You are not alone. This world is scary and illusory. It is hard to navigate through this world, but you are not alone. Please know this. You're going to be okay. And that is what Amida Buddha is telling us. The Buddha is telling us. So when we awaken to this understanding, life is never boring. Every moment, whether it is an absolute grief or an absolute joy, is a moment in which true reality is speaking to us. The Zoom call we have with our family and friends, right, are all messages of Amida Buddha's great compassion. The walk that you take, the meal that you had, when you wake up in the morning and when you go to bed at night, the people close to you who pass away and the suffering and the grief that comes with that, everything is a message that is calling out to you. When you really truly hear this message and receive it with all your being, we naturally and spontaneously respond with Namo Amida Butsu. In other words, we respond by saying, message received. I hear you now. I am truly being able to come to this truth while in this life. Namo Amida Butsu, right? So at the beginning of this talk, I started off with Shinran Shonin's words, which state, quote, when we say Namo Amida Butsu, the countless Buddhas throughout the 10 quarters surrounding us 100-fold, 1,000-fold, rejoice in and protect us, end quote. And what this means is that when we truly hear and receive the message of Amida Buddha's great wisdom and compassion, all the Buddhas in the 10 quarters rejoice in the fact that we have come to understand this. We have finally come to understand that we have always been with truth. Truth has never abandoned us. Truth is always there, but we never paid mind to it, right? But once we awaken to the understanding that we have always been embraced in this truth and will always be embraced in this truth, not one moment becomes lost in vain. Not one moment is wasted any longer, because every moment becomes a moment in which to be deeply grateful for. Isn't that great? A life of deep gratitude. What else is there, right? If you can live truly grateful, there is no stopping you. There is no way in which to put you down. There is no way in which to make you hate this life. A truly and deeply grateful heart is indestructible, as Shinran Shonin calls it. He calls it the diamond-like mind, Kongo Shin. It is the mind of Shinji. So I will conclude by stating that the Nembutsu is not a way for us to gain something. It is a way for us to realize what we have already been given in this life. We do not say the Nembutsu in order to obtain good health, wealth, or fancy clothes or cars or any kind of these worldly gains. Rather, we say the Nembutsu because we awaken to truth that unconditionally embraces us. So let us respond in deep gratitude for the opportunity to encounter this absolute world of truth, Amida Buddha's infinite wisdom and compassion. Please join me in Gassho. When we say Namo Amida Butsu, the countless Buddhas throughout the 10 quarters surrounding us 100-fold, 1,000-fold, rejoice in and protect us. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Namo Amida Butsu.